In this episode, I'll show you something about the hammer and anvil tactics. A tactics favoured by Alexander the Great. Basically had a great anvil in his spear infantry, the hoplites and the phalanx. Hoplites mainly from his Greek allies, and the phalanx from Macedonian troops. And then his battle-winning element was the cavalry. So what I'm going to show you here is a fairly basic setup of Roman troops, lots of legionaries, some skirmishers, and relatively okay cavalry. The enemy is Avernes from Gaul. Interestingly, we're fighting in the desert. I have never seen a desert in France, but bear with me on that one. It's open terrain and it gives you the best possible visibility. I'm going to open the battle with positioning my infantry in a left flank covered position and a refused right flank. So half my line is anchored on those rocks on the left, so that's safe, and the right side is refused. I'm hoping that my skirmishers can entice the enemy, and I almost thought he did that there, to attack my line head on, because that will shape his line in a crescent shape around my line, opening up his left flank for my cavalry, which I've placed on my extreme right flank. He didn't do that, unfortunately, and then we go into one of these drawn out skirmisher versus skirmisher battles. Now he has 4 groups of skirmishers, I only have 3, so it's probably not going to end well, but at some point I hope he will make a mistake and he will send something forward that I can use my masked cavalry on the right flank to take out 1 or 2 units, giving me numerical superiority such that I can put in the charge. Now my follow-up plan to this is to do to move my infantry line forward and do the opposite, reverse the left flank, because if I move forward my left flank will no longer be covered by the rocks, so I'll reverse it into the left, or refuse it into the left, and let my right flank of infantry be straight on, because it's got cavalry support. So now I'm just moving my infantry to the second stage, which is ready for moving up into basically the staging area right before we attack. This is still a sturdy line, readily able to accept an incoming attack, not a problem. The enemy is very passive here, not doing much, as is typical of the AI in Rome 2, unfortunately. In Rome 1 he would have probably attacked me head on, and it would have been a slugfest with very limited tactical finesse. I would probably have gotten the upper hand just by pushing my cavalry into his left flank. Now I'll move my cavalry forward, see if that can help him kind of get moving. He's got more cavalry on the right flank than he has on his left flank. So when I refuse my left flank, which is on the right of the picture here, that cavalry should be absorbed. Now it's worth noting, cavalry charges are devastating, but once the charge is over and you go into close combat with infantry, especially legionary cohorts, your cavalry is going to be in trouble. You do not want a standing fight with a legionary cohort on a one-to-one basis. The purpose of cavalry is to hit the enemy in the side as he is held by infantry from the front. You hit him hard and you hope that the momentum will break him. You pull the cavalry out again and you hit him again. You basically keep doing that. Right, infantry moving up now. You see I'm refusing my left flank, giving him almost an invitation to attack me. He's not going to do that. And I'm making my, which is my center, but the right part of my infantry, I'm making that parallel to his line, ready for an attack or ready for defense, depending on what happens. Now my plan here is to do an echelon attack, starting with moving my left flank forward, attacking his right flank, such that I will be moving in that actually what is now a refused line to the left will turn into a refused line to the right. In doing so, I hope he will move a lot of his army over towards my left flank I don't know why those two guys are moving across, because I told them to go straight ahead. But anyway, there you go. No plans of close contact with the enemy. I hope that as I have those two legions or cohorts on the left flank, that he is going to move a lot of units over to fight them, because they will arrive first, which will weaken his left flank where my cavalry is placed. Then I will send in my cavalry, and joined with the legionnaires over there, I will crush his left flank on the right side of the picture at the moment. So there we go. His cavalry is engaging my cohorts. The pilums have been thrown. Legionary cohorts are pretty good at being surrounded by cavalry like this. They don't mind too much. They fight in a tightly packed formation and are well capable of fighting on 3 or 4 fronts at the same time. This is not true for example, phalanxes. They hate being attacked in the flank. And here we go. You see his left flank is open. There's only a couple of units, and the cavalry comes charging in. Boom! You can almost feel the impact right there, and his flank is already crumbling. I have only just sent in my cavalry, and his flank is crumbling. You see how I have a significant local superiority in numbers over here, and at the same time he has, which wasn't intentional, but he stacked his units in his own center, which means that actually my legionnaires on my left flank are also beating up his cavalry on his right flank. So now he's being beaten on both flanks, and he's only got the center left where he's got a mob of people. The rest from here is a mopping up job, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my cavalry out, find an opening, charge them back in, pull them out, charge them back in. I'm going to keep hammering him like that until he gives up. There you go. Cavalry goes out, cavalry comes in. Boom, you feel the impact right there. And basically my legionnaires are holding them by the nose, and my cavalry are kicking them in the groin. So this, gentlemen, is a traditional hammer and anvil. I stacked all my cavalry on the right flank. I tried to entice him into a battle where I could have a small skirmish with him initially. He didn't want to do that. I had to send in my infantry in an echelon style, which worked to some degree. It opened his flank. That's what I wanted. I put my massed cavalry in, and that ended the battle, basically. Hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, stay frosty.